All right, welcome back, mathematicians. Today we are talking about angle similarity. In particular, we're talking about similar triangles. All right, so here are our notes. So at the bottom, you'll see it says angle criterion. All that means is we are talking about similar triangles. So similar triangles. So well, what does that mean when we say similar triangles? So if two triangles have two pairs of corresponding angles that are congruent. Remember, that word congruent means equal or same. So if two triangles have two pairs of corresponding angles that are the same or congruent, we call those triangles similar. And here is an example. So I've got two triangles. I've got triangle ABC and I've got triangle DEF. And below that, you'll see our similarity statement. So this is a similarity statement. This says triangle ABC. That little squiggly means similar to triangle DEF. All right, so triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Now, the easiest way to find our corresponding angles. So remember, corresponding means they are in the same position. Okay. Anytime I have a similarity statement, it's easy to find my corresponding angles because they're going to be in the same spot on my statement. So for example, here I've got triangle ABC. So angle A is going to correspond to angle D because they're in the same place in my statement. They're the first letter. Angle B is going to correspond to angle E because they're the second letter in each triangle on my statement. And then angle C is going to correspond to angle F because it's the third or the last letter in my statement. So again, let's see, angle F, that was purple or blue, is corresponds to angle C. Let me go back. Angle B corresponds to angle E. We'll make those green. And then angle A corresponded to angle D. All right. So this is just an easier way to find your corresponding angles instead of sitting there and trying to flip the triangle around. Okay, just know that in your similarity statement, it tells you what angles correspond to what. All right, so here, all my corresponding angles are equal. They're congruent, right? C and F are both 32 and A and D are both 80. It doesn't give us B and E, but if we solved for those missing angles, we would find out that they are congruent or the same. All right, so let's move on. So the question at the top, it says, explain whether the triangles are similar. So first, what do we know about triangles? Well, we know that triangles, oops, let me get rid of this. All right, we know that triangles, if I take all three interior angles and I add them up, we'll get 180, right? So we want to know, are the two triangles similar and why? All right, so I've got two triangles here. It gives me the measurement of two of the angles in each one, and it wants to know if they're similar. So the first thing we need to do is find the measurement of our missing angles. So to do that, if I look at this triangle on the left, I know that if I add up all three angles, so since it gives me two, if I add those two angles up, so 45 plus 100, I get 145. If I take that 145 and I subtract it from 180, right, I get 35. All right. So again, the measurement of angle A is 35. If I take that 35 and I add it to 45 and 100, we will get 180, right? All right. If I do the same thing for the second triangle, so it gives me these two angles, 135. If I add those, we get 135. Since I know the sum of all three has to equal 180, I can take that 180, subtract the 135, and that will give me the measurement of my missing angle. Okay, so in this case, angle B would be 45. All right, and then it wants to know, are the two triangles similar and why? Well, we know in order for two triangles to be similar, they need two pairs of corresponding angles that are equal. So if I look here, my corresponding angles up here, I've got 100, here I've got 100, we're good. Here I've got 35. Here I also have 35 because we solved for A and got 35. Those are congruent. We're good. And then angle B is also 45. So those are also congruent. So all three pairs are congruent. We're good. So are they similar? Yes, because two angles from one of the triangles are congruent to two angles in the other triangle. All right. Now let's look at a couple examples. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a similarity statement. So here I've got triangle A, B, C. That should be a C. Is similar. That squiggly line means similar. F, G, H. Again, you will always be given a similarity statement. All right, so here if I look, so angle A corresponds to angle F. So these correspond. Oh, that might be a little light. I apologize if you can't see that. Angle B corresponds to G. So B and G correspond. And then C and H correspond. All right. So first, let's find the measure of the missing angle. So if I look in my first triangle, it gives me 42 plus 88. All right, if I take that 42 and I add it to 88, we get 130. Right now, since I know all three need to add up to 180 to find my missing angle, I can take that 180, subtract what we got when we added the other two angles, and I get 50. All right, so this angle is 50. All right, let's do the same thing for this one. So here we've got 50 plus, what is that, 88. All right, so again, if I take that 50, I add 88, we get 138. So now if I take 180, because all three need to add up to 180, I subtract 138. I'm going to do that in my calculator just to make sure. I get 42. All right. So now I can just go and see if my colors match, right? So I already identified my corresponding angles. So do my yellow ones, do those match? Yep, 50, 50. My blue one, 88. Blue one, 88. Good. Green one, 42. Green one, 42. All right. So are those two triangles similar? Yes, they are. Okay, yes, they are. All right, let's look at our second example. So here are my two triangles. So the first thing we want to do here, actually, let me go ahead and write your similarity statement. So angle X, Y, Z is similar to triangle P, Q, R. All right. Again, you will always be provided with a similarity statement. So let's find our corresponding angles. We need to do that first. So angle X is going to correspond to angle P. Again, I'm just looking at my similarity statement. First letter, they correspond. All right. Second letter, they correspond. All right. And then third letter and third letter. All right. And here, let's mark them up here. So Z and R are blue. Y and Q are green, and X and P are red. All right, so now let's do our math. So if I look at this triangle on the left, well, it gives me two of my angles. It gives me 55 and 84. So I'm going to go ahead and add those two. All right, so if I take that 55 and I add it to 84, it gives me 139. Oops, that does not look like a 3. Let's make that a little better. There we go. All right, 139. So now if I take 180, because again, all three angles need to add up to 180. So if I take that 180 and I subtract the sum of those two angles, that will give me my missing angle. So if I take 180 and I subtract 139, I get 41. All right, so this angle is 41. All right, now let's do the same thing on this side. So it gives me 55 and 38. All right, if I take 55 and I add 38, I get 93. So now I can take 180 minus 93. Oops, let me erase that. And that will give me the measurement of my missing angle. So 180 minus 93 equals 87. All right, so here we've got 87. All right, so now let's see if they match. So here, red and red are 55. We're good there. Blue and blue, I've got 38. I've got 41. That's not a match. In green, I've got 84 and I've got 87. Again, that's not a match. In order for these to be similar, I need at least two pairs to be congruent. Well, this triangle, I only have one pair that is congruent, right? So this example, are these two triangles similar? They are not similar. So here, let me get rid of this and we'll get our explanation. So if I go back to the first example, are the two triangles similar? Yes, because two angles from one of the triangles are congruent to two angles in the other triangle. And if I go to my second example, are these two triangles similar? When we did our math, we found out that they were not. Let's see if we were right. No, because two angles from one of the triangle is not congruent to two angles in the other triangle. All right, so to sum this all up, when we're talking about similar triangles, okay, in order for two triangles to be similar, we need at least two pairs of those corresponding angles to be equal or to be the same or to be congruent. And remember, to find your corresponding angles, look at your similarity statement. You will always be given a similarity statement. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know. Log into my office hours. Until next time, guys, have a good day.